Hey everybody. Excuse me. I'm Carol Williams with Williams Immigration. Uh, I am the owner and managing attorney with a boutique immigration law firm in sunny South Florida. We help businesses as well as families. When we're helping businesses, we help them when they are hiring someone that is not a U.S. citizen. So we go in and make sure that they have the right uh, work authorization, the right visa in place. And then later on, if that employer wants to hire them or wants to hire them indefinitely, then we go in and we help that employer sponsor the employee for our green card. And we do all the compliance work that is required of that from the US government. And for my family based clients, we help them sponsor family members for green cards. Usually in my practice, that's going to be a United States citizen who is looking to who's looking to get a green card for their spouse, their fiance, their dependent child, or their aging parent. In the immigration world, a dependent child is under 21 and unmarried. So if your child is 20 and married, then they are no longer considered your dependent. And I like to say that because generally in the US, we think about you stop becoming a dependent once you become 18. And so the immigration rules are a little bit different. It's the one place where they actually give you a little bit more leeway. So I am going to be on tonight. I will answer some of your questions, but I'm not staying on all night. I have to meet some deadlines before the holidays for some of my clients. But before I start answering questions, I want to let you know that I am an immigration attorney. I've been practicing for 25 years. And while I am an attorney, I'm not your attorney. So the information that I give you will be really for educational purposes. If you would like to work with myself and my team, you can click the link in the bio and schedule a consultation. That is how all of my clients become clients. Consultation is an opportunity for me to find out exactly what's going on with you, look at your facts, and see how we can help you set out a strategy. And it gives you an opportunity to ask some really detailed questions. Some of my clients, we started off by going through what they had found on Google, going through what was right, what was not so right, that sort of thing. So if y'all have questions, I am happy to take a look at them and see if I can give you a little bit of guidance, a little bit of education tonight on immigration. And if there's no questions, then y'all know I will hop off and I will go make some dinner since I'm going to be up a little bit late tonight working. So I'll sit here for a little bit and then we'll see if y'all have questions. If you don't have any questions, then that's all right. I assume people are probably getting ready for the holidays. You can also drop me a note and let me know what y'all are doing for the holidays. Are you traveling? Are you staying at home? Do you have family coming? I am sick again, so I won't be going anywhere. So, that's always fun. I don't see any questions from y'all tonight. Maybe y'all are all making dinner. Maybe that's where I need to be. Maybe this is the universe telling me I need to be in the kitchen doing something and being productive and making dinner. All right, y'all, I don't see any questions. I find that hard to believe. But if you have questions, now is the time to put them into the chat, because if I don't get any questions, I'm going to go make some dinner. Hi, I'm a U.S. citizen. How long does it take to bring my brother to the U.S.? Assuming you are over 21 yourself, it's gonna take a long time. Bringing in or sponsoring for a green card siblings is the very last category in the family preferences. So it is taking, I just looked this up for someone the other day, when I spoke with them. It's going to take at least 15 years, and it could be more. It just depends on where your brother is from. So if there is an opportunity there's an opportunity for your brother to come to the US and get a green card that does not involve you sponsoring them, that more than likely will be a quicker avenue for your brother. If that is your brother's, so it could be diversity visa could be an option. I don't know where your brother is, but diversity visa could be an option. If there are other family members in the States, that may be an option. If your brother has employment opportunities in the States, that may also be an option. But honestly, filing for a sibling takes a very long time. Yeah. But I would say if that is the only option for your brother, then I would say start that application, but understand that the wait is going to be a very, very long time. That category it does not get quicker, unfortunately. So the wait will be quite some time. Next question. Granted voluntary deportation, but never left. Divorced shortly after. Thoughts, advice. I have no thoughts or advice because I don't handle any deportation defense in my practice. So I have no idea what would be a good avenue for you. I would highly recommend that you talk to another attorney who handles deportation defense and voluntary departure all day, every day in their practice. That is a whole different animal within immigration, and just not something that I handle. Someone is asking, Mikey is asking, how do I start an application for my sibling? The application is you would start by filing with the Immigration Service here in the US. Once that is done, that application it'll be approved. Once it's approved, then you'll have to start working with the National Visa Center and the consulate, depending, assuming that your sibling is out of the country. So it's essentially a 2-application process if your sibling is outside of the country. How long is it taking for fiance visa to be processed from Haiti? I have no idea. I do not know processing times off the top of my head. And quite honestly, I only know the sibling processing time because it's so long, and I just looked it up maybe a day or so ago. Well, it had to be yesterday because today's only Tuesday. So I had a conversation about it on yesterday. So processing times depend on what application you're processing and where that person is in the world. So I don't know what the processing time for a fiance visa is right now in Haiti. And unfortunately, the consulates don't really give us really good processing times. So unfortunately, I don't know. Hey, Sherry. Your fiance lives in the Gambia. How can I bring him to Georgia? You would do a fiance visa application process. So that is how you could bring your fiance here. Or if y'all are, if y'all want to meet and get married, then you would file an application, a fiance application, you would file a spouse application. So that is how you make that happen. Fiance visas, I think in general, are taking a lot longer than spousal applications. So if there is an opportunity to get married, I would check that out as well, if that is something that you two want to do before you file. Came here legally, been here over 5 years. Can I apply for naturalization? So naturalization, in order to apply for naturalization, you must be a current lawful permanent resident, or otherwise known as you must have a green card. If you, at the time of filing, are married to a U.S. citizen, then you only have to wait for 3 years after getting your green card. If you are not married to a U.S. citizen, then you have to wait for 5 years before you file. So I understand that you came here legally, but I don't know what your current status is. So that's the rule. That's the general rule for naturalization. And in terms of when you can file, Sherry has a follow-up question, which is how long for a spousal application? I have no idea. I don't know processing times off the top of my head. The process, I can tell you my last case where someone was overseas to get the first application approved took a little under a year here in the States. And that was like smooth sailing, no issues. And then, now we're currently dealing with the consulate. So I would say at least 2 years. But in terms of like better processing times than that, you'd have to kind of hop online and see what the current processing times are. And then understanding that the consulates don't really give us like super concrete processing times for what they're doing. How do I bring my daughter over? Your daughter can, I don't know how old your daughter is, but options are in general, very generally speaking. If she's old enough, she can apply to college here. If you want to get her directly into a green card and she meets the criteria for being your dependent, then you would file here first in the United States with USCIS. Then you would deal with the consulate and then, sorry, my nose is itchy. Sorry, y'all. And then she would have an interview at the consulate. Someone is saying no status. Oh, if you're currently undocumented and you don't have status, then you've got to become a green card / permanent resident first. So you'd have to go through that process first, and then you could become a U.S. citizen, unless you have a claim to U.S. citizen based on one of your parents being a U.S. citizen. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. But that brings up a good point. I often get calls from people who want consultations, or they reach out for a consultation and they're here and they're undocumented and they want to become a citizen, which is very helpful for me to know. But you must become a lawful permanent resident first. A lot of folks think that you can just kind of jump from either undocumented or having a temporary like work visa, and then go directly to U.S. citizenship. You cannot. You must become a lawful permanent resident first. So just keep that in mind. Any other questions, y'all? Because if not, I will go make some dinner. I feel like I should do these lives while I'm making dinner. I feel like that might be a little bit easier some days for y'all. Oh, let me check. I forgot to check the Facebook page and the YouTube channel. Okay, no questions over there. So we're currently live on TikTok, Facebook page, as well as the YouTube channel. Let's see here. My son is a green card holder. He has his residency going 4 years now. He and his wife separated. Okay, I don't see a question there. What is your question? Do I have to be married to get a permanent residence? No, you do not have to be married to get a green card. You can get a green card through marriage. You can get a green card through the diversity visa lottery. You can get a green card through an employer. But no, you do not have to be married in order to get a green card. Oh, yeah, I've been drinking water all day. Ooh, I feel like I'm going to float away. Any other questions that y'all have? I feel like people might be out Christmas shopping. some of my friends are online Christmas shopping. I don't do Christmas shopping. My family does gift cards. Very, very easy. My son is a green card holder. He has his residency going on 4 years now. He and his wife separated. Can he file for his citizenship? There's a difference between separated and divorced. So the rule for filing for citizenship is if you are married to a U.S. citizen, when you file, then you only have to be a permanent resident for 3 years before you file for your citizenship. If you are not married to a U.S. citizenship, then you must wait 5 years. If you are waiting for him to become a citizen before he files for you, then depending on his legal status of his marriage, then you may have to wait until he reaches 5 years, and then once he gets his U.S. citizenship. Yeah, if that is indeed what you are waiting for. Let me see. Somebody asked what it was like working with USCIS. It was pretty cool. I generally liked it. I met some very, very cool people. It was great to see how the sausage was made, as it were, and be a part of that process. So there are a ton of good folks working inside the agency who work very, very hard. So it was a really good experience, actually. I was up in DC, so it was fun. Can you expedite DACA renewal if it's been over 3 months? I don't know, because I don't really handle DACA in my practice. But I would, excuse me, I would have a conversation with a lawyer who handles DACA in their practice all day, every day. They can give you a much better answer than I can. So I would say schedule a consultation with a lawyer who handles DACA. Unfortunately, that's just not part of my practice. It sounds, baby girl, it sounds like I think it's your son, needs to schedule a consultation. And then get his questions answered as to when he can file for citizenship. Is the process faster to get a marriage-based green card if your U.S. citizen wife is pregnant? No, it is not. That is not one of the criteria to expedite. Let's see here. What else do y'all have for me? What else do y'all have by way of question? Jesus, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Jesus 12. Hello, how are you? Kayla, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Does convictions prior to green card process / approval affect me with CBP when coming back into the U.S.? It could absolutely impact your ability to come back into the U.S. CBP does have the ability to see, I believe, limited criminal background in the airport. They certainly have the ability to see whether or not you've overstayed. So if you have, this is what I tell people all the time. If you have any sort of criminal background, arrests, convictions, whether there was a plea deal, whatever it was, if you have come in contact with law enforcement, then I highly recommend that you have a conversation and work with an immigration attorney, not a form filler, but an immigration attorney who can work through strategy with you. It is horrifying to have people who go it on their own or work with someone who's not qualified. They travel, file a piece of paper, they're not quite sure what they're doing. They've relied on Google, and they are then potentially either put into deportation proceedings, or their applications can be denied, or they are not allowed back into the country. I always say to people, immigration's always going to let you leave the country, right? They're always going to let you leave. It's just whether or not they're going to allow you to come back in. And so if you have criminal convictions, I don't care what kind of application you're filing, I always recommend that you have that you work with an immigration attorney. I work very closely with some criminal attorneys because oftentimes they need to understand the immigration consequences when their clients are looking at, or when their clients are facing charges, when they're, considering a plea deal, when they're considering offering, a deal, that sort of thing. So if you have any sort of criminal background, even if it's one misdemeanor, work with an attorney, because a misdemeanor in, your local law enforcement could be super, super serious when it comes to immigration. So the short answer to your question is yes, it could absolutely impact you coming back through CBP. And your question brings up another good point, which I think that people either don't know or they forget. Just because you are a green card holder, just because you're a lawful permanent resident, does not mean that you cannot be placed into deportation proceedings. It happens all day, every day. Being a green card holder, being a permanent resident does not shield you from being deported. If you want to be shielded from being deported based on a criminal act, then you need to become a U.S. citizen. So I think that is important for everybody to know. Had my interview for a green card with USCIS and it was approved. Just scared to leave and try to come back. I then wait till you get your green card. If they recommended you for approval, wait till you get your green card. But I would also, because presumably USCIS has looked at your criminal background if they have approved your green card. Excuse me, Tiara. Can my spouse file an adjustment of status without me? I don't know. If your spouse is filing for a green card through their employer, then absolutely they can file their adjustment without you. Their adjustment would be tied to their employer. If you are saying that you sponsored your spouse, then you would be needed for the adjustment of status application. I believe, however, VAWA is a little bit different. Well, I think it's a whole lot different. So if you're talking within a VAWA situation, that is not part of my practice. That's sort of not part of what I do. So if it's a VAWA scenario, Violence Against Women's Act, which also covers men, then I would recommend that you have a conversation, do a consultation with an immigration attorney who handles VAWA cases all day, every day. Hello, Velma. How are you? Elman is over on YouTube. How are you? What other questions do y'all have for me? Because I am going to hop off here soon and go make some dinner and then continue working for the evening. What else do y'all got for me? Okay. All right, y'all, I don't see any more questions. So I'm going to hop off for the evening. It has been fabulous as always chatting with y'all. Again, I'm Carol Williams with Williams Immigration. I'm an immigration lawyer and a former USCIS Adjudications Officer. I used to work up in Washington, D.C. at USCIS. In my practice now, I am the managing attorney and I work with companies that are hiring individuals. So for the companies, we help them get the correct employment-based visa on board. We also help the companies sponsor their employees for green cards. On the family immigration side of my practice, we work with families, usually United States citizens that are looking to hire their fiance, their spouses, their dependent children. Dependent in immigration is under 21 and unmarried, as well as their aging parents. All of my clients started with a consultation. So if you'd like to work with me and my team, you can click the link in the bio, schedule a consultation, and we will see how we can help you. It has been fun chatting tonight, a little bit slower tonight. I honestly think y'all are all just out there shopping in these streets for the holiday, for Christmas coming up, which is cool. Or some of you may be online shopping. Don't have time for me today. My feelings aren't hurt. It's all good. So have a wonderful evening. I don't know if I'm coming on live tomorrow. I'm not quite sure. I have some stuff I need to finish up for clients before the end of the week. But you can always set your notifications up so that you get notified if I'm live. So I will see y'all soon. If I don't see you tomorrow, I may see you Thursday, right before Christmas. So have a wonderful evening. I'm going to go make some dinner. Bye, y'all.